right, here we go. Jaden Smith and the Nepo baby who couldn't make it. Oh, goddamn.
Someone stole my social security card.
How much did they take?
$5,000.
$12,000.
Jaden Smith was born into a unique position in hip-hop, the son of a man who obtained the first Grammy for the culture before going on to become a megastar in the always insane world of Hollywood. Will and Jada's son was essentially born to succeed, and though that came with its advantages, it also placed a heavy burden on his shoulders.
Think about it. He is the first rich black kid, really, like, of royalty, where people are like, you're Will Smith's dad. He's the most visible example of it. Like, he has room to fail.
Yet, he has certainly taken advantage of that room to fail, just as Gambino alluded to. But the problem is that he has done so in a way that the prospect of viewing him as a star in his own right, as opposed to the weird kid of Fresh Prince, is practically impossible for a lot of people, particularly when he has done a million things that have cemented that reputation. Boy,
now that I think about it, I think the reason why he probably does it is because he wants to like make his own way, I guess, but it's impossible. It's impossible, dude. He will always be known as Will Smith's kid. That's it. Like, unless he does something crazy cool, like within like creativity wise, acting wise, or something like where like he can make his own name, he will always be known as Will Smith's kid. Because again, he doesn't do anything special. He got into music. He opened for J. Cole. I actually watched him perform live, by the way. It was a J. Cole album. And I saw him perform. He did all of it. He did everything he wanted in life. Acting, music, whatever. And he felt almost every single thing he pretty much did. Like, because everything was given to him pretty much at that point. It kind of reminds me of like, right now what's going on with like the other nepotism right now with LeBron James, pretty much son. And like how they're treating him and his son pretty much, right? And how, especially his son, because like they're like, yeah, he cannot live up to pretty much LeBron's legacy for obvious reasons. Because one, he's young, he ain't ready for the NBA, but his dad wanted him to be so bad to be in the NBA. It's like he put him up for failure at that point. My personal opinion. And it just sucks when you put your kid like that, because again, you think you've done a good thing for them for like giving them so many opportunities, but honestly, it just hurts them.
And this is why Jaden Smith can never succeed. When you see Jaden Smith in the headlines, it's more often than not because of something other than his music. And alongside that, he's usually getting clowned on for some publicity stunts or over-the-top antics, or just straight up being annoying. Just look at the recent attire he chose to sport at this year's Grammys and how everyone responded to it. Appearing alongside his sister, the similarly eccentric Willow, Jaden baffled the internet once again when he decided to rock a castle on his head, which was designed by the Transylvanian designers Abodi. Understandably, people were a little baffled by this decision, but more than that, they were actively annoyed by what they were seeing. My teen girl says it's giving pick-me energy. What the heck is wrong with him? I wouldn't want to sit behind him at the award show. Anything for attention. So sad. Understandably for Jaden, this has increasingly become the reaction when he does anything. But this certainly didn't happen overnight, and the question is, does he really have anyone to blame but himself? Where the public were once interested enough in what he had to say that his debut album went gold, he's now in a tough spot where everything he does gets diminishing returns. And now, musically at least, he's at a point where it doesn't seem like he'll ever better the commercial success he saw back when he appeared alongside Justin Bieber on Never Say Never. Now, it would be disingenuous to act like he doesn't have his supporters who do vibrate with what he's putting out. As to some people, Jaden's outlook on life is an inherently refreshing one. Some even labeled him as innovative and that they were really proud of him, while others referred to him as a national treasure. But it's fair to say that the vast majority of people who aren't specifically subscribing to his mindset, Jaden's journey through hip-hop seems like a missed opportunity that has been squandered by his own behavior. And while you may not realize it, he's been on this path for a long time. As you might have expected, Jaden claims he has been hip-hop and its culture since birth.
When I was like 3 months old, like going to like Baltimore and Philly when I was like very, very young, that's where my parents are from, and kind of just being exposed to a little bit of what they were exposed to when they were growing up. But I was so young that, you know, it's just kind of even, it's hard for me to remember like when I'm 3 months old in Philly and Baltimore, but I would say that that was like my first time really going back to where my parents are from and seeing how people, you know, treat them in their hometowns, and then understanding like the Fresh Prince and stuff. And like I remember watching that when I was mad young too, like everyone else. I would watch all of it, and you know, that was some of my first contact with like, you know, my parents in that scene and in that world. But I just remember getting older and like getting an iPod and just putting like my favorite like albums on there, and just listening to them, you know, like 50 Cent and Eminem and stuff. I was really into that when I was young.
Nurtured by the Fresh Prince himself and his wife, actress Jada Pinkett Smith, Jaden was homeschooled by his parents, eventually stepping into the world of film with blockbuster roles in The Pursuit of Happiness and The Karate Kid, giving him a chance to break free from his father's shadow. But no matter how far he went, he could never quite outrun it. And in early interviews, he opened up about not only how his life was a lot different from your normal childhood, but how his father seemed to be doing the utmost to destroy any credibility he could possibly have.
But that's pretty embarrassing when my dad tries to kiss me on the mouth in public.
Oh man, that is bad.
Yeah, that's pretty embarrassing. We were in Korea. He tried to kiss me on my mouth in the press conference. He tried to make a heart with our hands like this.
What?
I was against
You
that
weren't
as
down
well.
with the heart with
yeah.
Dad.
Yeah,
I was
that's
against
weird.
that as well. And on Ellen, he tried to kiss me, and I almost flipped the couch over. So that was a good time.
I think it's sweet that your dad loves you
Yeah,
so much.
I appreciate the love, but there's a time and place to kiss somebody.
I got it.
Yeah.
I got it.
To make matters worse, his career was about to take a major hit from his first flop.
I
A
think that
scarring
pretty much killed
experience
him.
that left him unwilling to
killed his
pursue
career.
that side of entertainment ever again. The problems came from M. Night Shyamalan's After Earth. For those who don't know, this was a big budget sci-fi film starring Will Smith and his son Jaden. And while it had all the makings of a blockbuster hit with
They
big
were trying to
stars,
go
high
a big,
production value, and
a big
unique
brand
setting,
and everything,
it ended up
yeah.
being a huge disappointment, both critically and financially. A film which is said to be based on certain aspects of the teachings of Scientology, a church which Will and Jada have allegedly donated to over the years, the film barely scraped $60 million in the United States against its massive $130 million budget. Essentially, it was a flop, scoring an embarrassing 11% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. To make matters worse, Jaden walked away with a Golden Raspberry Award for the worst performance of the year. In his book, Will opened up about how starring in the film alongside him deeply affected Jaden, making a turning point in their relationship. Fans and the press were absolutely vicious. They said and printed things about Jaden that I refuse to repeat. He claimed, Jaden had faithfully done everything that I'd instructed him to do, until I had coached him into the worst public mauling he'd ever experienced. And as it turns out, this experience was so painful that he almost tried to leave his family behind. At 15 years old, when Jaden was asked about being an emancipated minor, my heart shattered. He ultimately decided against it, but it sucks to feel like you've hurt your kids. But in typical fashion for the time, the Smith family tried to maintain the illusion that they were the perfect family. And in an interview from that time, the pair joked about it as if it wasn't a real trauma for them to endure.
Now, speaking of that, I just heard when we were talking this morning about you being here that you are trying to become emancipated. Is that right?
See, here's the thing I need to explain. I'm not going anywhere. The thing that people don't get is everything at his house is free. So I can get anything and everything that I want at his house. So I think I'm gonna be there for 20, 30 more years. But he says as soon as I have a movie that's bigger than one of his movies, then I have to
there
give
ain't no
all
reason
else.
to live at my house no more. But no.
So where'd that come from?
Just I think I made a joke
Oh.
in Tokyo.
Oh.
Yeah. No, he's like, I mean, my baby boy, he's never leaving me ever. Ever. No.
Introducing Kling AI 1.6, where precision meets.
Oh my god, that's just weird with the sister. What the hell?
No emancipation for the Smith
All right.
kids.
No emancipation for the Smith kids.
Little did we all know that would be a sign of things to come for the family. Whether it was conscious or not, it was around this time that Jaden began to reinvent his public image. Suddenly, he would begin to deliver
Yeah, he
a
did the water
succession
or
of
something?
cryptic tweets, painting himself as a deep thinker with broader views on humanity,
Yeah, that was so
rather than
weird.
being the little guy from the Karate Kid. And it was around this exact time that suddenly, he was giving himself reason to be clowned at all times. This is the era where the infamous Jaden Smith's tweets began. We could be here all day reading them, so let's just take a look at a few examples. No pain, no gain. Young Kurt Cobain. Dear everybody who can rap better than me, please show me. If newborn babies could speak, they'd be the most intelligent beings on planet Earth.
Oh my god.
Alongside making big claims about his rapping abilities, for a kid who had only released one mixtape with the Cool Cafe at the time, Jaden's tweets continued to entertain and enrage in equal measure. While some people just took it as a little rich kid playing at being profound, others, including some of those close to him, began to take issue, including longtime friend Tyler the Creator, who responded with, "You actually kind of sound like an idiot," to a tweet from Jaden that said, "If everyone in the world dropped out of school, we would have a much more intelligent society." With every thought from his head coming from a place of privilege, it was hard to take anything he said seriously. Instead, it wound up with him being the butt of the joke. For that reason, it wasn't even the only time he got Tyler's wrath around this time.
Jaden Smith said you really wrecked his sneakers when you come around the crib.
He's a fucking
Jaden Smith
is a fucking Jaden, I hate you, you're
for real?
Hey, that's my nigga though.
Alongside releasing the second project in his Cool Tape series, Jaden would continue to aggravate the public with his behavior. Not least of all, when he turned up to Kanye West and Kim Kardashian's wedding in a white Batman outfit, creating some of the most surreal images you'll ever see from a guest. Right away, this got him promptly roasted. The hero no one needs, and hopefully no one deserves. You either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become Jaden Smith. Still, if you ask Jaden, he was on the right path. In interviews from around this time, he portrayed himself as though he was pushing boundaries in a way that was artistic rather than simply annoying. So much so that there's articles online that highlight some of his most cringe quotes of one particular interview where Jaden Smith was explaining that he really liked Apple products, before then making it 10 times deeper than it really was. Saying that he likes anything you can shock somebody with. The only way to change something is to shock it. If you want your muscles to grow, you have to shock them. If you want society to change, you have to shock them. Eager to be taken seriously as an artist, Jaden rose from the ashes of his wrecked film career to try and make it as an MC for real this time. And in interviews leading up to the release of his debut album, there was clear intent with his music.
I'm trying to make like young adults cry in their room or have like psychedelic experiences, like listening to my music and like have like a life-changing moment. You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to do. I've never really been in love with the industry. I've always been in love with the connecting of abysses of people.
And more specifically, he wanted to emulate the man who did that for him.
Who made you do that? Who made you, as a young adult, cry in your room listening to their music?
Cuddy, you know what I mean? Cuddy would always say things that just would like change my life. And then, you know, I thought it was just me and my brother for a while. And then I got older and started going to festivals. And then I realized like, oh man, everybody feels like that. Like everybody has felt that from Cuddy. Everybody says that Cuddy saved their life. Everybody, you know, if you're born at that right time, everybody was in high school and just like chilling. And everybody had that same experience. I don't know about that, but he was, Cuddy's a dope artist for sure. Like, something about them.
Who did his own thing.
Like you can tell certain things about them.
But no matter what he thinks he's achieving, a lot of the public weren't on board. Particularly when he kept giving off the pompous vibe of a bratty rich kid who'd been taught that he was special. We don't think a lot of music out there is that cool. Jaden once said of himself and his sister Willow. So we make our own music. We don't have any song that we like to listen to on the PCH by any other artist, you know?
Oh my god,
this quote from Jaden is important because it basically sets the scene for how he'd carry himself from there on out. In his mind, he was the intellectual savior of hip-hop, claiming the title icon out the gate and attempting to make his album sound as profound as possible.
So with this album, I want you to talk to me, who is Sire to you? Because that's like, you know, it's so crazy. I really love that you formed this alter ego. Like, who is he to you? Like, what is that? What does that mean to you?
Well, to me, Sire is the kid who always chases the sun, but he's kind of like Cupid.
Okay.
He's like a modern Cupid. He's a symbol of love and teenage love, but most of all, he's a symbol of teenage heartbreak.
Yeah.
And sadness. He's kind of like a myth, like a legend, like Zeus. You know, like Sire exists in the clouds, on the mountaintops, you know, like in the sunset, and he just represents lost teenage youth, lost love.
Are we gonna keep meeting him on future albums, really get to know him better?
Yeah, you're gonna keep meeting him through the series of my music videos, and then through the film that I'm gonna release, the Sire movie, and then you'll meet the other alter ego, Iris.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna get to know Iris too.
Yeah.
Okay.
But despite his best efforts, it doesn't connect. Deemed corny by many, his debut album Sire is his most successful album to date, peaking at number 24 on the charts and going
Which is not
gold,
bad.
but reviews were mixed at best, with popular critics such as Fantano pretty much summing it up swiftly for everyone.
I'm just kind of feeling like in general this record is fake deep. It's kind of fake deep. There's just too much
Fake
filler.
deep?
There's too much awful.
I never heard of that term
There's
until
too
this-
much completely drab, boring, average, run-of-the-mill, trendy, thoughtless, and middlebrow songs on this thing for it to truly be entertaining and worthy of the runtime that Jaden has given it.
Despite his ambitions, the attempt to make himself into an icon in one fell swoop didn't pay off. But one of the biggest reasons Jaden struggles to succeed, despite his privileged upbringing, is that failure doesn't really cost him anything. Bad
That's
reviews and
true.
mediocre sales don't affect him the way they would with a regular artist. And the same goes for Aries, its sequel, which peaked at number 12 on the charts, but got far worse reviews. Described by Pitchfork as mostly a slog, they went on to say that it was the sound of an artist with a blurry vision and too many resources at his disposal. And sure enough, it was a far cry from what his dad wound up in when his album failed.
We released our next album and it was like a flop. It was a tragedy. It went like double plastic. I had spent most of my money, like all of it. I spent all my money. And I didn't forget, but I didn't pay the IRS. In my mind, I mean, I wasn't like trying to avoid paying taxes. I was just like, oh damn, they need their money. The IRS took all of that stuff. So I was like, broke. Being famous and broke is a shitty combination. Cause you're still famous and people recognize you, but they recognize you while you sitting next to them on the bus.
Where Will had to hustle, Jaden got to breeze by without any hardship for releasing a subpar project.
Yeah, he can
All the
pretty much do whatever
while, he
project
kept
he wants in
torturing
life
people with
without-
cringe-inducing quotes where he proclaimed his own greatness.
I'm not a Mayan. I don't have the crystal skulls, and I don't have all of this ancient, infinite, knowledge. But I am a menace, and I am terrorizing this beat right now. There are some things I have done that are very, very iconic, like wearing a skirt in Louis Vuitton, or like crying in my music
skirt?
videos. So I feel like that's iconic because no one does those things,
What?
I guess I get why people are so magnetized by Jaden Smith. Like, he thinks that he's so unique and he's so profound and he's so special and that he's really just trailblazing. And I think a lot of
Yeah, I think he's like, yeah, that pretty much sums it up exactly. Yeah, he feels like he's a special person, but he's just I hate to say it, but he's literally just a Nepo baby, which I hate to like. I guess it sucks that he doesn't want to be described that way, but that's what he is. And I guess he's just trying to prove himself so much that he's like not want to be known as that, which I understand to a certain point, right? Like, obviously I get it, but it's like, I don't know, man. It's not the worst thing in the world, bro. Yeah, he's a Disney princess. That's a perfect way to describe him. He's a Disney princess, but he wants to be, I don't know, like freaking Cinderella, but not when she becomes rich. He wants to be like the poor side of Cinderella, like where he come from the bottom and doing something cool or do something different, and that, I don't know. It just feels really weird. It just feels weird. Very weird.
people want to feel that way. I'm sure it's a great feeling, but the price you pay for that always, there's no other price for this. The price you pay for that always is a stunning lack of self-awareness. A stunning lack of self-awareness.
And somehow it just kept getting worse.
The only reason that they receive that hate is because they do things that other people don't do. You know what I'm saying?
Problem with that statement is twofold. One, I feel like Jaden is kind of suffering from a bit of a Cuddy complex on this thing. Like, all of his art exists through this lens of everyone doesn't like me, I have tons of people that don't like me, it's me versus the world, and I'm taking all this hate,
Cudi's album,
I'm
by the way.
taking all this negativity.
Which that was literally Kid Cudi's album, but he did it in a good way, right? When he did the Man on the Moon and all that, that was literally cute. That's kind of like he was like, "Oh, you do weird shit. Your style of hip hop is weird," and that's kind of what's the theme of that album, right? He's the Man on the Moon, and that album did amazingly well. And so he is trying to replicate Kid Cudi, but it's very hard to replicate Kid Cudi because, especially, I hate to say it like this, but it's obvious. Like, especially if you were raised rich, that's very hard to do what Kid Cudi did in a sense of like the themes that he put out or the music he puts out. You know, it's like it's very hard because you can't really relate. You can't really replicate that personally.
And I'm just like this master of my domain because I can just take it. You can hate on me all you want. Just fucking crucify me. Ah. Like, the more people hate you and the more people dislike you is not necessarily the mark of a good artist. Like, certainly, I feel like you can't please everybody, and you have to at least kind of piss some people off to show that you're doing something right. But if all you're doing is negativity, or at least all you're gauging your success by is negativity, you're kind of in a bit of a warped state of mind there.
Boasting 87,000 likes on his video, it's safe to say that people agree with Fantano's point of view. This kid has clearly lived in a bubble his whole life, where he was told how brilliant he is. And with all the money in the world to help him, you can see why he turned out this way. At least Lil Pump consciously knows he's a troll and goes with it. In spite of the fact that his own art wasn't exactly setting the world on fire, Jaden continued to move with a superiority complex, which made it sound like he was better than those around him.
And I look and I go around sometimes and I hang out with other people that are my age and they're just
oh my god.
Come on, selfie. I'm just like, dude, like, oh my god, like, can we talk about like the political and economic state of the world right now?
And unsurprisingly, this went down terribly with the general public. And if you had a negative view on him before, this seemed to basically solidify it. When you were born into wealth and privilege and never had any real problems, you go looking for them. Him and his family are so unbelievably out of touch with reality.
And all the comments are about his comment.
Read all the replies.
Did you talk about the political and economic state of our country at Coachella? Let's talk about the political state of the world. Wait, oh, this is just this one? I saw lots of videos on TikTok of people being like, bro, you're a fucking kid. Like, bro, we're at recess,
Well,
dude.
right, because I believe he was, I don't know if he said it in that clip, but I think he was referring to when he was like 12 or 13.
They're like, dude, this is recess.
Being kids.
I hate how this interviewer is just like enabling him. I don't know anything about him.
I work from kids my own age. And I look and I go around sometimes and I hang out with other people that are my age and they're just kind of
I hate that interviewer, how he does that.
So that's... If you want to stay private online, stay safe on any internet network you connect to, and still enjoy great internet speeds, a VPN is your answer. With just a simple click, you're instantly under the VPN protection. With all your...
That's Big Boy. He's like a legend in
can we
LA,
be deep?
Radio hip hop. 105.9. Yeah.
Does he have with Boozies and his T.I. Sons? I don't think so.
Amid giving the public more and more reasons to troll him, Jaden stayed the course, explaining why he regards himself as a pioneer.
I just wanted to dive into a different type of style of music and really learn and kind of challenge myself as well and push myself and the team that I work with musically. And, you know, I'm always trying to do something that hasn't been done. I'm always trying to push some type of boundary on the edge of something. So, you know, we were trying to do that again with this album, and we're trying to do it even more so and like kind of get the point across even more with the deluxe version.
He even had the audacity to suggest that he was now a threat to the kings of the game. I always felt like little homie before, and that allowed me in all their circles, said Jaden. But now that I'm on the charts next to them, I'm not really little homie anymore. It's more like you can't hang out with us anymore. We didn't know you were making an album this whole time. We thought you were just little homie giving us free water and shit. You're not really cool with us anymore. While every musical movement makes waves, Jaden is stuck eternally trying too hard, and only really garnering buzz when he says something outrageous. From a stunt where he pretended to be Tyler the Creator's boyfriend.
I just want to say Tyler the Creator is the best friend in the world and I love him so fucking much.
Wait, could all this just be a marketing ploy? Could all this just be his genius of like, if I say some weird shit, it will get clipped and I'm back in the public eye? I could see that. I could totally see that.
And I want to tell you guys something. I want to tell you, Tyler doesn't want to say, but Tyler's my motherfucking boyfriend. And he's been my motherfucking boyfriend my whole fucking life. Tyler, the Creator, is my fucking boyfriend. It's true.
To a Style Icons video where he pinpointed a
Which
Greek
I get
god
us
as someone
part
he
to
wanted
show
to
him
emulate.
fun. Like just
Number
they're
two,
not
I
serious.
think Poseidon.
Fun.
Poseidon has
Because he
influenced
says some,
me all types of
Tyler's
ways.
criticism
If you
stuff
look
like
at the
that
sculptures,
too.
though, he has a lot of drapes. Just with the drapes and with the silhouettes, you know. Always when I was young, always got to me. Always knew that he was one of my fashion icons, inspirations. Poseidon has a lot of chains and jewels. He also has a huge like trident. He has a trident. It's lit, and he
Poseidon?
it's lit. It's just vibes. Poseidon.
And rather than being treated as an equal in the way he sought, Jaden continued to be sunned by the true stars of hip-hop for how he was moving.
Went on tour with Thug. He's the coolest person ever. And
What
we
is
would
he
hang out
wearing?
every single day. And he used to always come into my dressing room and be like, bro, there's no girls in here. And I'd be like, oh, no, you know, and he'd be like, bro, I haven't seen you with any girls. I'm really worried. I would like go and hang out with people just so that like he would see me, so that he wouldn't worry. That was the best tour experience ever.
Now, the peak of engagement with his music is in the rear view mirror.
that edit
These
weird?
days, even his official videos average around 1 million views and are essentially capped there. Overall, it doesn't seem like he can escape his family's shadow.
When that happens, is it completely like that's the entertainment world and that doesn't affect the family, or do you guys just call and text and check on one another and make sure everybody's head screwed on right?
It's kind of like that's the entertainment world, and this is totally different.
Right.
We kind of like, it's like, yeah, because also by the time anyone is like writing or talking about anything, it's like we've been
beyond
it. Old news.
Maybe it's trying to be English now,
it's
dude.
Like anything
Maybe that's
that's
the news
in the
accent.
news has had the time to happen and then go out. So by the time it's going out, people think it's happening, but it's actually has already happened.
That's a major key, no? It allows you to deal with it so much better than if you're dealing with it while the rest of the world is obsessed with it, right?
Yeah, and that's what it feels like for other people, but that's not actually how it ever is for us.
And while he was trying to be a serious artist, intermingling that with Red Table Talk appearances didn't help either.
Oh no, not the Red Table
never
Talk.
told us really what type of world you guys came from.
Yeah.
We just thought that you guys just sprouted up out of the ground.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And by this point, Jaden seems to be more than aware that for the most part, the public isn't rooting for him. Even when he tried to show off his gym gains, he had to do so through the lens of the way people see about him online. Haters will post the one on the left and ignore the one on the right. Like, damn, can a man have his phases? All in all, Jaden is in a tough spot, as unless you go out of your way to be a supporter of his, you either don't hear about his new work or you choose to write it off as just more music from Will Smith's Weird Kid. Even though he played a key role in creating the water box for Flint, Michigan during the height of the crisis, and clearly has his heart in the right place in some ways, it still hasn't earned him any slack. But right now, he might be releasing the most accomplished work of his career, and it wouldn't be enough. Because where he once had the capabilities to momentarily outrun his family.
I will say, to be fair with all of this, I'm going to be completely fair to him. He is a teenager, so he is in a phase where he wants to experiment a lot, and he's going to do a lot of dumb shit. Let's be honest, when we were teenagers, when we were younger, we experimented with a lot of dumb shit with clothes, music, entertainment, all that kind of stuff, because we didn't know who we were, especially in teenage years. So I'll give him that leeway, I guess. All right, I'll give him that. What, like, so you know what I mean? Like, I want to keep it fair. Like, to be fair, a lot of us, we did a lot of weird shit when we were kids, right? Like, I wasn't doing wild shit like him though. Well, the thing is, I think a lot of us would have been doing all of this weird shit. Let's be honest, maybe not to that extent, but if you have that kind of resource and money, yeah, a lot of us would be doing so much weird shit, dude. More like amplify it by times 20 because they have the money and the money for it. No, I get what you're saying. He does some beyond weird shit. I'm just saying, like, because in his case, he had a lot of money. He could do whatever he wants, right? And so I'm pretty sure if a lot of us were in the same shoes, we probably would have maybe not going to that deep end, but I'm pretty sure we would have done some weird shit too. You know? So that's what I'm saying.
family's name, the collective distaste for the Smiths has made everything a whole lot harder for him to overcome. Back in the day, people used to wonder how someone like Jaden could be the product of a guy like Will Smith. Almost universally beloved, Will was—
Alright, hold on guys. What's going on Capcom Cup? Alright, let's finish the video. Jaden Smith
was a platinum-selling artist, a constant box office attraction, and even made a successful journey into YouTube. And above all, he did it without sacrificing that good guy image. Or so we thought.
I'm coming into a space.
How have you maintained your authenticity? Because I mean, you come from
Maybe I
Philly,
should've
you've gone through
looked
everything.
at
Like, your
this.
journey's been crazy. Like, how have you maintained that?
You know, it's really interesting. It's like the idea. I haven't maintained my authenticity per se. I've maintained my character, right? I've maintained my beliefs. Character in two senses. I've maintained my character of Will Smith, and I've maintained my personal character of what I believe in. So, but in terms of authenticity, the character Will Smith signs every autograph and is always happy and wants to see the fans and is always in a good mood, and that's actually not authentic, right?
Hey, let's being honest about it. That's the entertainment side of him, right?
I do want to slap somebody, you know.
I mean, you did do it
every once in a while. So in terms of authenticity, I have successfully maintained positivity, and now I'm working more to maintain authenticity.
And while we all know the moment when the wheels officially came off,
Oh, wow.
Damn.
Wow.
The slap.
Will Smith just smacked the shit out of him.
looking back will
Years
tell you that
ago.
Will Smith was coming apart at the seams long before the slap occurred.
The idea for me is I painted myself into a corner with Will Smith, right? And I realized that, you know, we have our childhood traumas and we have our experiences, and then we all create these characters that are going to be our characters that defend us in the world. Ooh. There's certain things we can't do, there's certain things we can't say, certain ways we react if people do something. Then that character wins some things for us. It's like, oh, we succeed by behaving this way. Then what happens, you get to a point where it stops working as well. And the reason that it stops working is because it's not true.
But once the slap happened, the goodwill was lost once and for all.
It was a lot of things. It was the little boy that watched his father beat up his mother. That was a rage that had been bottled for a really long time. But at the end of the day, I lost it. My nephew, Dom, is 9, and he is the sweetest little boy. He's like, you know, we came home and it's like he had stayed up late to see his Uncle Will. And he's just like, why did you hit that man, Uncle Will? You know, damn it. Why are you trying to Oprah me?
Then there was his mom's contributions to the whole thing. Ever since she revealed her entanglement with August Alsina.
Oh, bro, everybody hates this bitch, man. Like, I remember Will Smith was under like drama because he kissed a woman. It was like a concert singer, and they're doing a concert together, and he kissed her and stuff. And then people were like kind of lost their shit. But then I was like, I commented like, hey, do you guys remember what Jada Pinkett Smith did to him? Like legit what he did to him? Let him have his fun.
The notion of their perfect relationship exploded in front of their eyes, while at the same time, destroying Will's cool image as it became increasingly clear that his wife ran his life.
Out your fucking mouth. Wow, dude. Yeah. It was a G.I. Jane jump. Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
I got into an entanglement with August. That's what I said.
An entanglement?
Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, it was a relationship. Absolutely.
Immediately, this tarnished their image, leading nothing but hate
did.
to come her way ever since.
For Jada in particular, though, she just really came off as the stereotype that a lot of men have about women refusing to be accountable for the ways in which they hurt the men close to them. Jada, in many ways, dances around the nature of this relationship and at one point calls it an entanglement, which makes Will, who this whole time has always played the supportive and aloof partner, break character, where he has to almost side-eye her in her use of that term and confront her with being accountable for what it really was, a relationship. that she had with another man. And I might add, an overtly toxic one at that.
And every new clip that's emerged since has painted a dark portrait of their life.
I would say don't just start filming me without asking me if you could film me. My social media presence is my bread and butter, okay? So you can't just use me for social media and not, don't just start rolling. I'm standing in my house. Don't just start rolling.
Then her attempt at a tell-all autobiography flopped, pretty much because she'd already told everyone anything they could want to know. This naturally had a knock-on effect on Jaden and Willow. According to a source, the kids feel bad for their dad with all the recent headlines about their parents. They know he has been going through a lot lately, and this isn't helping. They wish some of their family's private matters remained private. But beyond the emotional impact, it must have taken a professional one too, in that it essentially reduced the whole family to a laughingstock. Once among the most revered dynasties in Hollywood, they were now seen as the dysfunctional family that you'd never want to emulate. Reduced to a tabloid figure, the past few years have seen more interest in Jaden's love life than his music. For a while, he was dating an influencer known as Sob Zeta, becoming so infatuated with her that it stopped him from putting out a new project, writing in February of 2024 that, "Album soon, I've been distracted." But after he was caught kissing influencer and model Cleopatra, she was then seen with rapper Diablo, likely shading Smith in a photo of the two of them together. Amid all of this drama, Jaden has tried to persevere and create, even channeling the sadness from the breakup into his music.
Why, after 3 years
of
break from music, you decided now was the time to make a return?
Just because I was sad, honestly, and I wanted to share that.
I mean, I think that's a great thing as an artist that you were able to, notice that you had some emotions that you wanted to get out. So is it more difficult to kind of process your emotions through music, or is it easier for you that way?
I think it's easier. I think it's a lot easier.
Since he's now focused on writing from personal experience rather than chasing the icon status, it seemed like he might finally be moving past the cringe phase. However, his recent EP Life was met with heavy criticism. And to make matters worse, it was mostly ignored by both the public and critics. Enough with the self-pity. It's getting pathetic. Ultimately, Jaden's stocks are at an all-time low. No longer a movie star, discredited as a musician, and trapped under the shadow of his family's reputation, Will and Jada's firstborn is fighting an uphill battle. Even if he were to create the best music of his career or finally become the revolutionary figure he's always claimed to be, it wouldn't matter. His audience has already shrunk, and the damage done over the years may be too great to overcome. It's your boy Luesta, and as always, I want to thank y'all for watching today's video. If you guys did enjoy it, make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.
Yeah, I think the whole family is pretty much became tinted at this point. Like, they just see him as like laughing stocks to a certain extent. I mean, Will Smith obviously still has star power because it's Will Smith at the end of the day, even though people call him a cuck. He still has star power in so many ways, especially that now he's evolving more in social media. Like, he was just in like XUC stream not that long ago. So it's like, yeah, like, I don't know, man. The family of the Smith family at this point is all over the place, dude. I don't think a lot of people see a good, a fully good family anymore. That image got destroyed, pretty much. All because of the wife. Literally all because of her. It gives off a vibe of someone who wants to be a teacher without being a student. As well, the XXXTentacion was exactly what Jaden inspired to be, except X actually lived through real struggles. That's actually a great comparison. You either die a hero, live long to see yourself become Jaden Smith. He has a perspective of someone who's never starved. It's not like that's not his inherently wrong or stupid. It's just he doesn't understand that people. He doesn't understand the people he's speaking to. How could he? Which again, like, if he wanted that life in many ways, personally, he should have just gone to college. That would have given him at least a kind of perspective of instead of a different kind of life on his own. My personal opinion, he should have gone to college, like lived a dorm life and all that kind of stuff. That would get him more like in the real world kind of thing. Not like obviously like everything's the same, but at least it'll give you like more of a sense to see like the struggles and get out of the bubble that what he's comfortable living in, which is like the rich life and all that kind of stuff. If he wanted to experience and grow, be a more mature person instead of being a false mature person. and try and be deep or whatever. I heard someone say once that rich kids' biggest challenges in life aren't to do with money or success. That's all guarantee. The big challenge is whether they can separate themselves from influence of the rich parents. Yep, that's pretty much it, really. Like, you can't get out of the shadows of them, honestly. It's just impossible.